Good evening, everyone. This is Waqi Munim from Courageous Mind. Today, the topic of my talk is going to be change everything while changing nothing, only your confidence. Okay, this is a new thought and an idea that I have. I have developed it, and I'm going to be soon posting it also on LinkedIn. So I thought about sharing it in my talk. I didn't do the session yesterday on Saturday. I wanted to see if I can get it's more convenient for the people if I do it on Sunday or not. So let me just start with this, and again the subject is change everything while changing nothing, only your confidence. So I have often wondered if there was a magic wand that could, with a swoosh, change everything. All our problems and worries disappear into thin air, and life becomes pleasant and enjoyable. Would it not be good to have such a wand? I believe that there is such a wand, and it's available to all of us, and that too for free. And that wand can change everything. The magic wand is our confidence, a state of complete self-awareness. And that is exactly what it is, a state of complete self-awareness. It's an unwavering belief that everything will turn out for the best. The wand works when our emotions, feelings, and thoughts are hardwired to select the best outcomes from the stream of conscious thinking in the mind, and we take all positive actions to manifest these best outcomes into our reality. There should be no room for any doubt, disbelief, or negativity. So think of it as like a stream of consciousness, which is stream of thoughts, stream of ideas, and anything which is going to be developed or anything that is developed is part of that consciousness, of that stream in which we are all flowing. And what we want is to have an understanding of that, understanding that we are not our thoughts, right? We are more than the thoughts that we generate, and how we can overpower those thoughts to make them more positive. And that's the whole idea of confidence, self-awareness, understanding that how we operate, how our minds are affecting us and maybe preventing us from achieving the things that we want to achieve. Okay, so why is confidence so important? The whole universe is inside us. Our perceptions, interpretations, standards, expectations, and thoughts create a world inside a mind which can be very different than the one externally. So the external world is all seen to us in a way based upon our perceptions. The way I see the reality may be different than the way you may see the reality. Okay, so how we feel inside is expressed as our emotions in the external world. Confidence and self-belief are the tools that enable us to feel pleasant and in control even when things are going haywire in our mind due to pain caused by results not in line with our expectations or standards, or from losing something of value to us, or from a hurt to our ego. So these can be all the reasons why you get these disturbing thoughts. In such times, a confident individual focuses on the learnings from the situation instead of assigning emotions to the situations. Self-learning creates knowledge, and the more we learn, the better we become to deal with situations. Confident individuals don't lament, doubt themselves, or try to make the situation bigger than it actually is. Confidence then is a state of mind, an attitude to believe in oneself and in the power of focused, pleasant, and positive thinking. So the idea I want to give you is that confidence is all about self-awareness, understanding of our thoughts. When you understand your thoughts, understand your behaviors, understand your reactions to certain situations, people, and things, you have developed an understanding of yourself fully. And once you have mastered that, you will be able to control the emotions that happen inadvertently with you. And once you are equipped with that, the external forces cannot affect you. And when the external forces cannot affect you, you can pursue the path that you want to take, and you will be able to achieve super results and more happiness for your own self. Okay? So what stops us to live the life we so desire? Okay, so that's an important question. So the thing would be that in life, it is not the situations, nor our managers, nor our social status and the resources that stop us, stop our growth and accomplishments. Rather, it is our own mind, our own thinking that stop us. Our conditioned mind seeks acceptance, imitates authority, indulges in self-doubt and loses confidence that binds itself into a box of limitations. So we ourselves get into the box of limitations. The worst part is that when we are young, we don't have these limitations. We may be having our hanging bellies, we may not have our hair combed, we might be from different colors, different nationalities. We go out and express ourselves, we play, we enjoy, we have fun, right? We are not conscious about how we are looking, conscious about what we are saying, we are not conscious about the acceptance of others, but we just go out and color the canvas of life with our own unique flavor and the palette that we bring with us. So then we grow up, we become conscious of our looks, our status, our material possessions, our achievements, etc., and start to doubt ourselves and our capabilities. That is a problem that happens. We restrain ourselves from saying how we feel and bringing our unique magic because of the fear of what people will think. And in all fairness, firstly, no one is thinking about you. They are all thinking about themselves. And even if people take out the time to think about you, you should say thank you, because even if it's for criticism, it's at least they found the time to think about you. So take it as if it is something which is positive and constructive, take an action. Otherwise, just forget about it. Okay. Sometimes I have been asked several questions, like people say whenever I'm talking about affirmations, talking about the positivity, talking about the mindset re-engineering, the first question I hear from the people is that it's easy to say this, but my situation is different. And my response to the people is that yes, each one of us has a unique situation, and my life is not your life, for sure. I'm old enough to understand this. However, isn't it even more important for you to do something about your unique problems to solve them? If it's so unique, then how can anyone or anything external help you? You will have to find the solution yourself. All I'm saying is that once you have the confidence, you will look for solutions and not allow discouragements to stop you from the journey of bringing about a change. Even if you cannot change a situation, you can certainly change your perspective, which in turn will change the way you view your situation totally. And that is something which I suggest to the people. Your problems are your problems are different from the other person, but by not acknowledging them or not doing something with it, you allow to live with those problems forever. Another question which people ask me is like, if I could change everything by literally changing nothing but my confidence, I would have done this a lot earlier. In real life, things don't work like movies. And this, we have all heard, the critics who would be saying these things, yeah, what do you know? We have lived a life and we know the reality of life. So my response to that is, I believe the movies are inspired by real life experiences, or at least are an imagination of the movie director. If we can imagine something, we can surely achieve it as well. The concept of the power of confidence and positive thinking is simple and strong, but very difficult to consistently and sustainably apply in our lives. At the first challenge or provocation, we gravitate to our old ways of thinking because this is what resides in our memory bank. If only we can consistently wear confidence, be pleasant from inside, and keep an unwavering belief that everything will be great, we will manifest a great life, as happiness is simply a feeling and not an outcome of the numeric accumulation of material possessions. And that's a very, very important point that people need to understand. It's a feeling. So if we feel that we cannot do anything about a situation, then we will never be happy because we are feeling helpless. So, or we are dependent upon some external force, a Superman or a superhero or superwoman would coming in our life and saving us, and that is not going to happen at all. The other question which I hear a lot is like, why are we not as confident and happy as we were as children? And that's a very good question. And to this, my response is simply because as we grow, the conditioning that we receive from our environment, our unique experiences, our affiliations, and the story we tell ourselves shape our perception about reality and life. We start to believe in limiting paradigms and get stuck in the box of limitations. Others who are already in these boxes further strengthen our beliefs, and once the mind believes in limitations, it becomes greatly difficult to break it, to live the life of confidence, self-belief, and limitless living. Okay? To be limitless in real life, you have to first develop a limitless mindset that drives its energy from inner calm and pleasantness. This can only happen if you erase or subside the painful memories or limiting paradigms stored in your memory bank, as mind is a recorder and it can play only what is inside the bank. And one example that I always give is that if you're going to squeeze an orange, you're going to get an orange juice. You will never get a grape juice or an apple juice, because whatever is inside comes out. So if there are painful memories in your memory bank, then the situations that you face with or meet, your reaction will be based upon that memories, and you will react, you will get angry, anxious, stressed, because this is what you have seen in the past, and that's what you express in the future. Because you have to understand one thing: if mind is a memory bank, and everything that you have learned, the experiences, the conditioning, the knowledge from your university, college, is all part of that particular system. And when you're solving a particular problem in the future, or you're evaluating a situation, is based upon the knowledge that has been accumulated in the past. So if people having bad experiences with their life, they're going to use those experiences, and the lens or the filter with which they evaluate a situation will be based upon what they have experienced and what they have heard and what are the belief system that they have. And that's how the world will look to them. And that's why two different people observe with very different experiences of the past, different knowledge base, will react to a situation in completely different ways. And that's what we see. And the reason why is because one person may have a very different memory bank versus another individual, right? So we have to see what is it. And confidence is not about like you just go in and say, I'm going to change the world. That's not confidence. That's, I think for me, that's arrogance. That's sheer arrogance, that you start to believe that you have unlimited power to do, bring about a change to the world. But confidence to me is the state of heightened awareness about why you act the way you do, awareness about what are the thoughts that are coming, what is the origin of these thoughts, why do you react the way you react to things, even your own bad behaviors. You understand those, that yeah, this is wrong, the way I react in a conversation was not right, or I shouldn't have defended my position so vehemently as I did in that particular situation. So having that, accepting all those elements, the negative thoughts, the positive thoughts, everything that is in your mind, plus your negative behaviors or the positive behaviors that you have, and then trying to allowing them to sink into you. Once you understand that, then you will be able to select the right one, the more positive things in your life, and you will through this renewed confidence, renewed self-belief, you will be able to you will get into the path of learning and creating new knowledge, which will enable you to make better decisions, have a better and more pleasant life. Okay. So then another question which I generally get in this topic is like, where does it all start? So how do I start on this path? So it all starts from our inner feelings, how we feel about a life and about a future. If we are pleasant from inside and focused on what we have to do instead of being stuck in the quagmire of negative potentialities, we can transform our life by transforming our mind. It is not difficult, but requires a will, consistency, and belief. So you have to start by feeling good about yourself, feeling good about the environment, feeling good and blessed in this world. You know, like we are living in a time people only talk about the problems. This is the best period of human history, best period. Just about 100 years back, people were dying from diseases which are not even existing anymore, right? You have vaccinations to cure them. 100 years back, it was so much of a problem to travel from one part of the world to the other part of the world. Now you can just go to the airport and you can be within maximum about 15 hours, you can be to most of the distant destinations, right? If it's a direct flight, it'll be 16, 17 hours, yeah, whatever it is. So the world is becoming smaller. You have the best vaccination, best healthcare system, you have running water coming to you all the time, you have electricity, which was not there 100 years back. We have cars, we have everything is being made. Like you can make just through internet a phone call and the grocery would be delivered to your home. You can even not make that phone call. Your refrigerators can be have efficient replenishment, which is like as soon as the particular quantity of some item that you need is down, it informs the supermarket, and the supermarket can then replenish it. So with that type of life, with so many things happening, you can connect with anyone like in seconds. I remember that in 1991 to 3, when I was in Hong Kong, even in those days, I had to write a handwritten a letter to my father, would reach him, or to mother, it would reach after a couple of weeks time, and then they would respond, and then I would get it back after another 3 weeks. So meaning like 2 months gap it would take for just communicating with them. Or if I would pick up the phone call was so expensive that I would actually have a rationing onto that to say that, okay, I'm going to have a talk of like 10 to 15 minutes every week, and on a special occasion it can go to half an hour. Now imagine with WhatsApp, with Botim, with others, you can make a phone call for free. Now this is, again, it's like I'm in conversation with you and it's for free. So for people to say that it's so difficult, the times are bad, I really don't buy it. I think we are the most privileged people to be living in these times where everything is working our way. Science has taken us to a completely different level. The only issue is that we are not using our thinking in the right way. We have allowed, one of the things which I always say, we have outsourced the most potent and powerful tool that we have, which is our own mind. We just follow whatever is said by someone else. And what I'm saying, and I'm defining confidence, is your ability to self-learn. When I say self-learn, I mean is looking at the situation from your own dynamics. It's like right, wrong, evaluations, and then going it. Not because I was told by my mom, or I was told by my teacher, or I was told in that book, or because this is how it has to be, because it's been given to us. And that is the problem. You have to develop the confidence, you have to evaluate situations. So then once you evaluate the situation, whatever decision you come up to, at least that is your choice. That builds confidence in you that you had the ability to evaluate the situations, and the outcome you have come up with is based upon your own thinking. Once you can do that it's based upon your own thinking, you will be able to take better decisions for yourself in your life, and it gives more pleasantness, and you can look at all these thoughts or the stream of consciousness that is flowing as just a thought, right? And you don't allow those thoughts to create a turmoil inside you, and those turmoil feelings create the outburst of emotions. Okay? So that's another question that I have encountered many times. Now another one which comes after that is like, you cannot get food on the table or get money with confidence and positive thinking. I think it's strange. If you believe you cannot, then surely you cannot. If you believe you can, you can. Confidence may not get you food immediately on the table, but over time it will. I swear, if there's one thing, at least in my life, I have such a huge belief that if you wear confidence, that's the most beautiful thing that you can do. And with confidence, if you take my property, you take my job, you take whatever, and if I'm left with confidence, I'm going to recreate all that and even more. But if you take from me my confidence, not only will I lose my confidence, but I'll lose all the other things that I have with them. Because if we have been able to create something out of nothing, unless you have just gotten an inheritance and that's about it. If you have created it once, you can create it twice also. But you have to have that belief in yourself. You have to have that confidence, an unwavering confidence in your own self, and of course in God and whatever the bigger creator that you have to have. But have confidence in your own self as well. Okay, however, lack of confidence and negative thinking will surely take the food off your table. For sure, negative thinking will take it away. If we cannot believe in ourselves, then immediately we give the power to some external source. And by doing that, our efforts become weak. When we take responsibility of our life and believe that we are the authors, we take concrete actions that propel us forward. I've seen many people who would say, I have not been able to do well because I couldn't get the education because my parents were poor, or I was born in a poor country, or I didn't have the influence to get the right positions or the right universities, or all those type of excuses. Now, you're not giving excuses to people. You're in fact giving excuses to your own self, because some of the richest, some of the most successful people in the world had the most difficult childhoods ever. Like look at Steve Jobs. He didn't even have he did not even know who his parents were, right? And yet he created the first $1 trillion corporation in the world. Many countries their GDP is not 1 trillion. And this guy created a company which is 1 trillion. Now recently Amazon also became a $1 trillion company. You look at many people like Abraham Lincoln, look at his story, or Kentucky Fried Chicken, or these guys, like you cannot say, they never complained that why I was brought to the world when I don't know who my parents are, or why I don't get things given to me in a platter. But with their confidence, with their self-belief, they were able to create it, because we have been brought into the world to show our magic that resides inside it, to express ourselves. Whatever life we have, they say on average the life is about 70 some years, right? But that includes also the Japanese and Europe and the US, where the lives are longer, versus then there are also countries where the span of life, because of the poor medical facilities, is lower, right? So, but on average it's 70 years. That's the time we have been given to express ourselves, to paint the fabric of life with our colors, with the unique colors, right? Through our relationships, through the things that we do, by influencing others, by creating happiness, by creating joy inside us. We need to be doing that, right? And sometimes we just forget about it, and we get into this negative thinking and start talking about like why things have not been fair to us. This victim mindset has to be completely abolished or taken out. I've also seen people talking about like, I have reached a particular age, now this cannot be done. These are all paradigms that we have to take them out. Or in corporations, it's very normal to say, but people will complain about it, that, well, we cannot do this because the target is too high, or it is not to be delivered. And the reason for these things is like people want to have, like I give two concepts, pain and pleasure. People or the human mind is developed in a way that it always wants pleasure. So when people are setting the targets, they want to make them low ball, so that when they are able to easily achieve it, the pleasure comes in form of a reward, in form of a bonus, so they are able to achieve that. So people are, the human mind is all about pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Even the love that we have towards a family is also a pleasure, because it gives a pleasure when your child does good work. It gives you a pleasure when you look good, no? It's like it gives you a pleasure and that pleasure is coming from the ego, which is like separation of yourself from the thoughts, separation as an individual, no? I think I'm getting a little bit, but you stay with me, this thought, that when we start to identify ourselves as a body like this person with the glasses and this funny hairstyle and this black t-shirt is Waqi, that when I start to have that, that is where the ego part comes in, and then it's the separation between me and say another person who's listening. But if we all just take that ego out of it, things become much better. Even the goals become much better. For corporations, it is like my predecessor did bad, I am doing well, which is like complete separation, that this guy was not good or this girl was not good and I am better, so I have to show how good I am, so I can first lowball it, or I, how should I say, you say I'm doing an inventory correction in the stores or whatever, I try to bring the forecast down and then start to show that how great I have operated. So this is like about all the things about getting the pleasure. It's likewise when you buy a car, you want to have another car, because the pleasure of getting another bigger one is more to you, because how you will look in front of the other people, it shows your success. So that's pleasure. And the pain part would be, you can have a physical pain, you can have a pain in your mind that I'm unable to achieve something. That is a pain, right? So all your life is between this pleasure and the pain, and the only solution to it is developing the self-awareness, understanding yourself fully. Once you do it, you move away from that competition of like a rat race, running on a how should I say, on a ring or a wheel and never reaching any destination. But it's more about being pleasant, and yet from that pleasant state try to get all the things that you want in your life. Okay. Another question, which is a real one, I got from one of the individuals. He says, these positive talks, affirmations and changing the mind to change your life type of talks are for young people. I am now over 50, I understand reality. Okay, so I am at a particular age, so I understand reality. Tell these to children so that they can reform their life. And my answer to this is, if 99.9% of everything, even the solid things, are empty spaces, and that's what science says, that's not me, it's quantum mechanics. If you go into quantum level, everything is empty spaces. The matter is hardly, it's all energy. If Earth is revolving and we don't feel it, I don't feel the Earth revolving, I'm sure you will not be feeling it also. If we see that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, yet we believe that it is the Earth that is in fact revolving around the sun. You can see it with your senses that it's coming from the east and the west, and we are not moving. Then how come we are actually moving around the sun? Right? That's the point. But so what all the things that our senses are saying may not be true. If all that we feel and sense through our perception organ is not always true, then how come we can trust the senses to believe in a reality that we are conditioned to believe, right? Because we have been told that once you are at a certain age, you should be only able to do this, because that's ingrained in our mind. You can change that. It is what we believe becomes a reality. Now, look at an example. Mr. Mahathir Mohamad of Malaysia. He was re-elected the Prime Minister again at the age of 93. 93 years of age. And he is fit and he's doing amazingly well, right? So if he would have thought that, oh, already I'm 50, these things are not for, like, what should I do? Imagine he had another 43 years after that, he becomes the Prime Minister. So you should just, I always believe that when you reach a particular milestone, just enjoy that milestone, take a new guard, as in the phrase of cricket, and start again. And now you have a knowledge base of 50 years with you, along with, if you are keeping yourself fit, and the energy and the wisdom of which comes from experience of experiencing life in all its greatness and also all its difficulties and challenges. You are in the place where you can then say, oh my God, now I'm like a Picasso. The first half of my life was more about learning, and now I'm going to really paint the world with my own color and uniqueness. So instead of saying that, yeah, already giving up on life, one should not, till who knows how long we will live. But whatever the time is, we should be doing the things in the best possible way and to the best of our abilities. Okay, so that would be my response to the people. Then the other question people ask is, there's years of conditioning, experience and stories in the mind that are preventing me to get this magical confidence. How can then I just switch off the train of negative thoughts and embrace unwavering confidence? I think this is a really good question. So here is my response to that. This is the most difficult part, and the way through it is to first develop awareness about the impact of conditioning on the story that you tell yourself. This is true meditation. A lot of people talk about meditation as that they might be chanting on a particular word or a mantra, or they would say that blank your mind out. There's no such thing as blanking of the mind. Try it yourself. I have done it for such a long time. It doesn't work that way, and people have also become gurus and make a lot of money in that way. But I believe the true meditation is to just be aware of the thoughts, aware of your behaviors, become aware of the things around yourself, and that is the true meditation, that you're alive in the moment, not living in the future, in your dreams, or in the past, into the memories of what has happened. Or most of the thoughts that you come in are based upon your memory bank, as I said earlier. So living in the moment is the best meditation. Just feeling, sensing what your body is saying, sensing what is happening around you. That in itself is the best meditation that you can do. Okay, so this is true meditation, to be fully aware of oneself, to understand without judgment our limiting paradigms, our emotional outburst, our reactions, our sorrows, and the train of thoughts that inundate our mind. To understand those. What are those thoughts that are coming in one after the other like a train? And these are the thoughts which are causing us confusion, they're causing us anxiety, they're causing us stress. And mind has the capability that it's going to pick a thought and take you all the way to your grave. It's like if you allow that to happen. And sometimes it's good just follow it to understand why it's happening and what I need to do to come out of that. When we become aware of them, simply as an observer, the mind becomes quiet. So the technique is that if you're getting perplexed, worried, anxious, stressed by the train of thought which is affecting you, the best thing is to just distance yourself from it and just as an observer, allow the thoughts to come in, like why are the thoughts coming the way they are? And once you allow that, they will disappear or quieten themselves. But if you try to stop them or try to change them, they will not go away. They will stay with you. The problem is that even if you go out somewhere, it doesn't help because your mind is with you. So what has been your past experience and what have you been told repeatedly that you started to believe vehemently? Okay. Once we become aware, the next step is to slowly challenge these negative beliefs to gain confidence, which is simply an aware state of living, and to use the small wins to create higher awareness. What you're doing in essence is looking at the old negative painful story or experience that plays like a broken record in the mind objectively to cause its cessation. So you're stopping that and learning to accept your emotions and the continuous flow of thoughts. Once you accept them, you can choose to replace these disturbing thoughts with pleasant ones. Self-awareness is the path to intellectual emancipation needed for sustainable happiness. So happiness is not about jumping up and down, being ecstatic all the time. I think that's a sign of lunacy. You cannot be ecstatic, you cannot be happy, but you can be pleasant. Pleasant is the calmness inside, that you are unruffled by the day-to-day events, by the things that are happening all around ourselves. You're staying centered, you're staying calm. You are, when people talk to you, you are not agitated. You are the calming force amongst the community, amongst the family that you operate in. You have mastered this body, which no one teaches, like at college, school, and this is one of the biggest challenges that we have. Like people are living the life which is from the lens of some other people. They are like their thoughts are the opinions of the seniors or of the people of authority, or their thinking is more about like what their professors say or your boss has said. But what is your own thinking? How are you aware of how your body functions, of how what are the food that you eat which can cause you problem versus the food which is it's give you the highest amount of energy to you, not because of someone saying it, but observing on your own self and how things have gone on your day-to-day basis. What are the situations, people, and how they impact upon you. That level of awareness I'm talking about. Now, the final question that I try to answer is like, is it this easy to change your life by just changing nothing but our confidence? And I say, yes, really. It is as simple as being aware of oneself in the deepest sense of the word, and using the power of self-awareness to believe in yourself and put your best in everything that you do, without any self-doubt or negative story. So when you do something, do it as if it is going to happen, and have no doubt that something else will happen. The doubt is the biggest issue. Doubt, fear, all these negative connotations, they are the ones who stop the human progress and keeps you away from being happy. And you will not be happy, because once you have the fears in your mind, there will be the fear will show you something, and this will cause commotion in the mind. And once there's commotion in the mind, there will not be pleasantness. And if you don't have pleasantness, you cannot be pleasant inside or happy inside. For sure, confidence without hard work and knowledge is arrogance, while lacking confidence when you have these skills and capabilities is a waste of talent and lowering the experience of life. If there is one thing that can change everything, is confidence. So wear it all the time and see what this magic wand does for you. So I know that a lot of people joined this session a little late. So for them, I will just summarize what I was talking about. So this whole talk is about changing everything while changing nothing, only on our confidence level. And what I mean by confidence is the ability to be self-aware and having the self-belief. That's what confidence is all about. And then I talked about why is confidence important, what stops us to live the life we so desire, and then some of the conversations which I have had with people and their questions. And the question was, is it easy to say this, but my situation is different? And my answer is yes, everyone has a unique situation. They have their own unique life. And because their problems are also so unique, it is their responsibility to take charge and to solve them. Because I or any other person will not be able to solve your problems. Only you yourself will be able to solve the problems. And the day you stop expecting an external power to come in to solve your problem, you will not be able to solve them. So, and that gives you more confidence also, that you have been created so beautifully by the Creator, and with so much power have been bestowed to all of us, and we have to utilize it in the best possible way and put our magic onto the fabric of life. And then there were other questions as well, which I have talked about it in the session, and you can, of course, this will be put on YouTube as well as on Instagram for 24 hours, and also on Facebook, so you can always go back and listen to it. So with that, this is what I wanted to talk, and I do believe I am completely a great believer in the power of self-belief and wearing confidence. It doesn't matter if you wear branded clothes or not. It doesn't matter if you drive a sports car or not. It doesn't matter if you travel first class or economy. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO or a clerk. What it really matters is truly if you have the confidence and the self-belief in yourself and the ability to understand yourself to the point that you're pleasant from inside. Because at the end of the day, even the people who are working to become the presidents or to become of the company or of the country or whatever, their also desire is not just to be successful. Their desire also is to be happy. When you are talking to them, happy. And many people will not be able to even define what happiness truly is. And for me, happiness is just being centered, being pleasant, and not worrying about the things that are happening all around me, but knowing that with the help of God, with my own efforts, I will be able to cross these challenges that come my way. And in the process, it's not about once these challenges are over, there will be more challenges coming our way till the time I'm alive. So how much of a life I'm having within this living experience? How much am I living? How many pleasant experiences I have accumulated versus unpleasant experiences, and because mind is only a memory bank, and that is the whole idea, at least the way I look at it. So if you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, please feel free to share. So I give you a minute or two. So if you have any thoughts, any comments, please share those. No? Come on, at least someone should have a thought or at least a feedback. No, I didn't see any. Okay, so if none of you have any thoughts, it's also getting a little bit dark here in Dubai, and I forgot to turn on the lights. So if there are no questions or thoughts, this will be put onto Instagram, Facebook, as well as on YouTube channels, so you can listen to the whole talk. And if you have any thoughts, any suggestions, any ideas, or you believe you have a completely different thought on it, please share, because I can benefit and learn from your thinking, because I do believe that no individual has all the capabilities to know everything, right? So it's the learning, it's the dialogue that happens, and especially dialogues in completely different point of views when you learn the most, and you should have the ability to respect others for their completely different point of views, and you learn the most from the people who think differently, who are different from you, because if you are all the same, then what's the difference, right? It's like if you're all the same, you're all the same thinking, then what is there the room to learn? So the room of learning is when someone comes up with a completely different idea, who challenges us on our core thinking, and that's where the thinking widens and it becomes great. It doesn't mean that you change your fundamental values or the beliefs that you have. No, not at all. But it's just that you allow your mind to think, and you embrace some of them even more strongly, but based upon your own self-awareness and understanding, not because someone else told you to accept certain things the way they are. Okay, with that, I want to thank you all for joining. I wish you a very, very pleasant week ahead of you. Thanks. Bye.